Dino Palmieri, welcome to Unfiltered Brew.
Good morning.
So excited to have you here. I'm honestly totally fangirling right now. Dino Palmieri is a household name in Cleveland. You started with a pair of scissors and a dream when you first moved to Cleveland over 40 years ago. And when I moved here, Dino Palmieri was the first hair salon I ever entered, and it ended up being my stylist's. I went there for 8 years straight before my stylist, Johnny Minotas, shout out to you, before he moved to Texas. So I've been a fan for many, many, many years. And to have you sitting here across from me is incredible today.
Well, thanks for being a
Welcome.
supporter.
Yeah.
We're so happy to have you with us today.
We want to know, like, what brought you to Cleveland? What was the drive and how it started and the American dream?
What was it? Do you want the short version or the long version?
Oh, we've got time. We want the long version.
No, we have to make it the short version. I was before I turned 18, I went to England because at the time it was mandatory to go to the military. So I was not going to the military in Italy. So I left for England. And luckily for me, I already knew how to be a hairdresser. Mm-hmm. Of course, it's learning skill, so you can always learn more. And when I went to England, not only I was in search of learning how to speak English, which I didn't speak English, but also to perfect my profession, and that's what I did. I left with a couple of my friends, one of which was my cousin. They went on the academic part of it, very successful in that world. And I went to be a hairdresser. And then I moved into outside London at the beginning, and then I worked my way in as I was developing my skill of English and hairdressing. And I would, then I worked in London in several places. I lived in London for 3 years. And that's where I really perfected my skill as well as my English, which is still working.
You're doing great.
I'm trying.
So
my English is really strictly raw from being a hairdresser. I never went to school for it.
So your first words of English really was when you first moved to England, essentially,
yes,
right?
Yes, essentially. I didn't know anything else. Because in school I even took French. So English was all new to me. Mm-hmm. And that's really where, I would put myself through interview. This I never shared with many people, but I would put myself through interview on a day off, which it would be on a Monday. And roughly I remember, and I would just go and interview with different salons, not necessarily to get a job, but in those days, and even I think today in London, was very progressive in the hairdressing world. It was like the precision cuts started from Vidal Sassoon. And that really, you would go to this interview, not necessarily to get a job, but to get evaluated to see what am I skilled, what am I missing, which is like, it was like looking back, there was like a hard job for me, right? Because it's like I didn't have any guidance from my parents or anybody. So it was just me, gut feeling.
So you didn't know anybody in England when you moved there?
No.
Wow.
No, a lot of people were migrating, different places, but it was just, I met a lot of, in the beginning was many Italians, and then slowly but sure, you meet other Americans and English, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
English. I have American in my mind because I've been here so many years. But that's where you were, the skill was like, and then eventually I got myself a job in Vidal Sassoon because you got to speak English. Mm-hmm. And not necessarily a perfect English, because to cut hair you don't need to speak English, you need the basic vocabulary.
Yeah.
But that was my dream. And then when I got it, every day, you work. So for the interview in England, they provide you with a model.
With a model?
With a
yes,
what?
the model.
Oh, the model.
Yeah.
Okay.
So looking back at those days, the salon had so much overflow, being in a city like London, that they had extra, clients that it would be your model. And
everybody wanted to get their hair done.
well,
Yeah.
it was for
normally
free,
it
but
is,
there's
but,
a model.
but you have to. They have to cut your hair
a-
and all that. So.
Yeah.
It could be the daughter of someone, or it could be like a client that just walked in and they would offer to you to do a haircut. And then you tell them what kind of haircut would you do as a bob, or is it like a layered haircut back then. But my skill was, and still today, what I learned how to do mostly haircuts.
So are you giving us haircuts then?
Yeah, well.
No, I don't want a haircut.
No, I don't want a haircut. You guys
My
have
hair
nice
just
hair.
grew.
Nice hair.
Speaking of haircut, I remember when I was a kid, when we first moved
your
to
hair.
America. Oh my God, I was so mad at her. I had long, beautiful hair as a child, and she had this lady cut it, and they cut it like, I told her I looked like in Croatian, it's called, my hair looks like a tuta, which means like a baby's toilet seat. 'Cause it's like, literally, I'm like, why does it look like a tuta? You know, my mom.
That's hilarious.
She cut it all the way up here, and I was so mad. I was like, why did this lady cut my hair? And I was like freaking out.
Well, because
and,
she
like,
didn't
this
go to
lady-
Dino's. That's
I
why.
wanted her to cut my hair. I also came here not knowing any English either.
Also, we have a lot in common.
We have a lot in common.
But what was it like moving from such a small town in Italy to London, which was thriving at the
It's
time?
overwhelming, obviously, as everything, from, it was scary, but there was no internet back then. There was no cell phone. So everything was, even communicating with my family was back, you have to make appointments, you have to write letters. And there was like, even the phone in town, there was only one phone in the city.
In the whole city.
In the town, where I grew up,
yeah.
the people, I think have changed.
That's
I mean,
wild.
The young generation, they have no clue.
No, I had no idea what it's like,
town
right?
that you were in, was it like a little cul-de-sac, like on top of a hill?
No, they're usually, most of the town in Italy, they are on top of the hill.
Yeah.
I think strategically for wars back in the days.
And what town was that?
This is called Busso, B-U-S-S-O, which is Francesco from. And is also, it's the major city by there is Campobasso. And the region is Molise. Back in, I think they separated in the 60s, was Abruzzo Molise, so that's the region that I grew up. It's 2.5 hours from Rome.
Do you go visit a lot?
Yeah, this summer I was there 2 times to visit my parents. My parents are still living and well.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. So what made you, what sparked this idea in you that you wanted to be a hairdresser?
I don't think it was really originally my idea. I think it was my grandfather that I was named after in my little town, that he bought me the tools. I think I was 13 or 14 years old. This is, Binte was in a war. He says it was a good profession to have because you're never
Giving
going to
hair.
be out of job. So he was doing that for me. And then that I was in my little town being a barber. So I started as a barber. And then I moved to the city in Campobasso while I was going to school. And I think looking back, it's basically because I like girls. So I says, I'm not going to cut hair for men.
I
the rest of
love
my
it.
life. So
I
honestly
like girls, so I'm
speaking,
going to go cut their hair and hopefully...
I like girls. That's one way
That's
to...
the easiest way to be
that's
around
one
girls.
is to be around girls. I says, it's being a hairdresser.
The legal and easiest way to be around girls all the time.
I mean, that's smart.
That's
a smart
smart.
I have
move.
to be honest. I mean, it's not...
We love it. We're unfiltered here.
So have
we
you
love
met
the
some
honesty.
hot ladies throughout your? I'm sure you have. I mean,
we
my
met,
gosh.
it depends on how you define hot. What's hot to me, it might not be hot to someone else. Yeah,
I want to know what's hot to you.
What's your type, Dino?
Oh my God, no, you can't go there because it's.
Oh,
like,
we're going there.
It's like.
Oh, we're going there
No, why?
because I want to know what's hot
There's
to
a
you.
different level. I mean, it's like from, there could be a woman that is highly intelligent that spark your interest in the conversation. It could be a lot of different things. It's not necessarily just the
physical
woman
attributes,
walking down the street
right.
with a
I mean, that's true.
sexy body
yeah.
and long legs and a stiletto shoes. I think that's like the perception of a woman that's sexy or hot. But I think hot is defined in a different way, I think, for a man.
What comes out of her mouth, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. You can have this gorgeous girl,
Yeah.
and then she talks, and it's just like,
And it's like it's from
okay,
the,
let's not.
yeah, it's
right
like
now.
so many
Let's not
factors.
move
It's from
forward.
I mean, that's a different subject altogether, being a hairdresser. But I think being a hairdresser, from there, when I came to, my dream was to come to America. I had a friend here in Wycliffe, Ohio, and he since obviously passed away, but he brought me here on the bicentennial, on the 4th of July, the bicentennial, 76, I came on Air India. Was the cheapest way to get here.
Okay.
And it was a round-trip ticket that back then you could have purchased, and it was like a three months visa, 3 months ticket, but I was able to get a visa.
To come here.
to come here, in London. And then while I was here, I did like some.
What was your idea of the American dream, as somebody coming from Italy and then
I
London?
think that I think actually going back now that you brought it up, being in my little town in Italy where I was, was barber. I remember there were Americans coming back from vacation, and I always this idea that there was a great standard of living in the United States. I remember that people that were working as a labor in the United States make very good money, and it was then. I don't know if that dream is still alive today. Things have changed, but I remember one of my best friend, he always reminds me when I go back to Italy that you always follow the American dream and capitalism.
Capitalism, yep.
That's really what America.
It's what America's built on.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So that's why. But it's still it's a place, I think, America, I tell everybody because I travel a lot and they ask me about America, they have this perception, depends where you go, because we have you go to Europe and they have a better perception of America. And I always say, listen, it's not perfect, but it's still the best country in the world.
I agree.
We definitely have issues, but, it's still the best.
Absolutely.
That's been my dream, that's been my reality.
And you fulfilled it. And you are like, think about it. I know we've touched on like your hair salon dream and you moved here. Let's tell us when you first stepped out of the plane here and you moved to Wycliffe, what was like the biggest culture shock?
Oh God, there were so many things. A cold
the air
milk.
was different.
No, that's
Literally.
In the refrigerator, I have a cold milk back those days. It's amazing.
Oh, really? As simple as just having cold milk. Wow.
I never forget some of the early on, like seeing, this is going back a long time, so many different things, that they come back that, there was like McDonald's. It's like, I used to think, you can go to McDonald's, and it was back then, I think $1 for
a cheeseburger. Yeah.
And I says, well, you can survive. You can eat McDonald's three times a day,
yeah.
And you can still save a lot of money. So it's like the mentality, I think, as an immigrant. That's if you have to be honest about it.
Yeah, I remember my sister's first job was McDonald's when she first moved here. And every night she would bring back extra burgers. Dude, I was obsessed with the Big Mac sandwich.
You still are.
I know I am.
But some of the stuff, now that you brought it up, is still shocking to me because coming from Italy or anywhere in Europe back then, you go to the grocery shop and you see like a salad dressing, and there is French, Italian. And it's like, we don't have this stuff in Italy. I never see this French dressing or this Italian dressing. It's just vinegar and oil. It says like it's still to this day I don't use dressing.
That's
So what do you do? Oil and vinegar?
Oil and vinegar, or do my own, with
your own concoction.
You can create your own.
Yes, you can create your own fresh. Yeah. You really can do that. That's another subject.
That's a whole other subject. The food industry is a whole other subject. Yeah, I agree.
That's one. But now you brought it up in England because I didn't speak English, and I remember going to shop for grocery because we had, there was no way that back in those salary that I was like an assistant as a hairdresser. You start that to work your way up. Mm-hmm. And I went and got some coconut butter, and I was spreading it in my bread, and it was not the coconut butter that you eat. This one for your skin. I still got the taste in my mouth.
Didn't.
It was terrible. Yes.
Really?
To this day, I'm having a hard time with coconut.
Really?
Coconut butter.
So
the packaging, you couldn't even read English probably, right?
I don't know. This is like a really funny thing.
Oh, that was hilarious.
I love that.
I still got that taste in my mouth.
Spreading cocoa butter on your...
it's terrible. And I wonder why. Then
because I've never heard of cocoa butter for
unfortunately, there was no cell phone on Google.
Cocoa butter is for stretch mark.
So you cannot go on Google and say what it is. Now today, everybody goes to Google.
Do cocoa butter in her belly.
That's...
So those are things that it's hard to even tell people because they don't believe you.
They don't believe. With
that
this generation, when you pick up your phone, hey Siri, what's this? And it's a different world, honestly, different life, and it's really interesting to hear from your perspective. It's
So I think it's like anything else. I came here and I embraced this the country, and it's become my country. I love it. So I mean,
I love
but
it.
there's a lot of different things that you're not used to it. Like I told you, the salad dressing, I still don't buy it off the shelf because I don't.
I mean, you're going the healthy way. You know, you're doing your own oil and vinegar.
which is the Mediterranean way, really.
Which
That's
is
how
the
we were
Mediterranean
raised.
way, yeah.
Like till this
Yeah.
day, like the way I marinate the salad is just oil, vinegar, some lemon, some dried mint, and some salt. I mean, this is the way we do. Like I don't purchase any of these. Yeah.
Oh, I still have a hard time. For example, I go
Yeah.
to the store and I see cut mango or cut up pineapple. I say, why don't you cut your own pineapple? I mean, it's like not only saving the money, but you also get to choose and have fun cutting it.
Cutting it,
You
yeah.
know, there's a way to do it fast, and you can do it. So those are things that. But I'm trying to live a very healthy life right now. You know, that's how all this started. This Cleveland Vibe, obviously, they interview me and they want to know how I live and.
Oh yeah, we
what
got
we
to
do.
see that video.
Yeah, so
we're
it's
we're
about-
waiting for
yeah.
for a house tour from you.
But it's very hard because we have junk around all of us. Whether it be chocolate or in my house I have all the junk all around me, but I don't touch it. It's almost like it's to make sure that you have that resistance.
Self-control.
built in. And I do have also alcohol, which I don't drink. My
Really?
I don't drink. I've
You're
3
telling me
years,
you don't
3
drink
years and 3
vino?
months. No, I have a lot of wine. I have a lot of my friends. They come over to be with me. Usually they bring their own.
And
have their
so
own
you love to
tequila.
entertain, but you.
I know, but it's very very hard to do
Yeah.
because it's like alcohol. I think is like that's again another subject altogether different. I tried in the past to quit, and it was very hard to do it because I think it just eventually alcohol takes over your life, and we could have another podcast on that because
Yes.
it's really so many
I agree.
people.
It
I
does
agree,
take
yeah.
over,
No, because really it's like so many people want to do it. Highly intelligent people. It doesn't matter who they are. They could be CEO of a company. They could be anything that will take over your life. It's one of the worst drugs that is, and I think that I'm lucky enough to to be able to quit on my own, but it's not been easy, for many people, and it's not been easy. It was not easy for me in the beginning.
How many
either.
years have you?
3 years and 3 months.
That's incredible.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That sounds like I keep a track on it, but people ask me all the time because everywhere we go,
You're
we're
like,
conditioned by like last night there was a big party for my friend, and,
Yeah.
and everything. There's alcohol everywhere.
So how do you deal with the peer pressure? Because I know a lot of people
There's
feel like they
been
need to because it's a
yeah.
social setting.
Sometimes there's like you got to be able to. For me, it's like making fun of myself. It's like so in the situation like you're at a bar and they offer you a drink, and then they're all doing shots. That's why actually the shots is the worst part because you feel like an outcast by not drinking.
Yeah.
So now at that point at the beginning it was hard, and then I've tried in the past. And then you give in and you drink, and that's a kiss of death if you're trying to quit. So at that point, I think you start to make fun of yourself, and you say, "Look, I really don't want to drink," or you might walk away. Whatever that makes you more comfortable.
Yeah.
For me, it's been like when people try to force you to drink, then I start to make jokes out of it. I think everybody's got to develop their own technique how to.
How to
You know what
manage
my
to
technique
stop.
is? Club soda and lime.
So actually, funny you said
Splash
that
of
because
pineapple.
so when I stop, I will get to the bar and get myself a mocktail or like, and it goes by very fast because there is ice and there is no alcohol.
It's sugar.
So the alcohol usually slows it down the
Yeah.
process. So I was like, oh my God! I says I gotta have 10 of those. Then I gotta go pee every minute. So I decided to get soda, or like
Ginger ale.
bubbly water.
Yeah.
Which they tell me that that's not great either for your body. But anyhow, so I do bubbly water, no ice. Maybe I'm used to it because being from Europe, I still
No
don't use
ice.
a lot of ice. As long as cold, and then I use lemon or lime or whatever is orange. And I think that will last me a good hour, a nice cup. That way
Yeah.
you can actually pretend to be drinking
Yeah.
with someone.
This is
and
all
It's the way to do it,
mental
really.
thing.
It's all mental.
a mental.
I really think it's all
Yeah.
mental. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
lot of this stuff is all mental. It's how you handle yourself
Yeah.
and how you do it. I mean, I was at a football party last week, and everybody was drinking, and it's pretty amazing to see how people behave after when you start
A few
at the beginning.
drinks. Yeah, and when
after
you're
a few drinks.
and you're thinking like, this is wild. This is how
Oh yeah,
people
it's
behave.
like, literally, and
It's
then-
crazy. It's literally like So I run a bar in Menor. It's Billy's Martini Bar. It's owned by the Italians. So when I'm there and I'm not drinking and I see people drinking, it's the most annoyingest thing. It's like having to babysit adults. Sometimes it's worse than babysitting kids.
But easily people pick up fights, you know.
Yes. Fights break out. People get really sensitive, emotional. Yeah.
There's so many things going
So
on.
many
There
things
could be
going on.
anger. You know, one guy got upset with me, and then the next day, just this happened last Sunday, and he apologized the next day. So
Oh, really?
I think it was over alcohol. He says, "So I was drinking," which is, you know, I understand. You know, it's like I've been there. I think you can embarrass yourself, or you embarrass others, or and actually alcohol. I have a chart that I use that it's a statistic and study. That's probably the worst because you also hurt more people than you hurt yourself as well, but you hurt more people as well.
Do you believe it's defying aging by stopping drinking?
I'm sorry?
Do you defy aging? Like, do you feel like you stop?
Yes.
You age gracefully when you stop drinking.
Actually, my daughter just saw my Instagram, and just like 8 years ago, one of my kids graduated, and you could see that I was bloated. I was not necessarily fat. And she says, "Oh my God, look how different you look from that picture." And I remember that picture the night before I drank a lot, which I remember that I would still probably smell like alcohol the next day.
Yeah.
So those are the days that, like you say, "Oh my God, I don't miss it," because you have the headache the next day. So many things that can go wrong when you drink.
I love that you're promoting that too. So many people are kind of like shy or like don't like to talk about their experience with alcohol and how they've, you know, become sober. But I love that you're really open about it because it will
I'm
inspire
pretty
a lot
open
more.
book. I think a lot of things I do. Some people, like even in my offices, there is no secrets, and I think that's what life is all about. I think some people live in secrets, and maybe they embarrassed by. But I think, you know, this is not something that it's like you isolated. Obviously, that's AA started, you know, being anonymous, and some people are very vocal about it. But it's a great movement as well. I mean, whatever it takes to get you to stop drinking, I think it's a great idea. And very few people that just drink, you know, socially one drink. I think it's just to get you, some people that go to the next level, and that's really what really gets you.
Yeah. It's how do you know what your threshold is? What's the threshold? And that's when people lose themselves.
And I think, you know, the problem is for people that drink and they don't want to admit it. You know, at the beginning they might say, "Oh, I want to get a really nice glass of wine," but then after a while, when you drink more than 2, 3, and 4, it's not the drink anymore. It doesn't matter what kind of vodka you drink; it's just the effect. You just go for the feeling.
Yeah.
So whether you have a fancy vodka or cheap vodka, get you the same buzz.
It's still going to get you the same buzz.
Yeah, it gets you the same way. So, but that would be another podcast altogether because I tell everybody how to stop it. If you don't want to listen, they do. Some people are inspired by.
Oh, really? You go back home and you try to like.
Well, even in Italy, my friends, because they all drink wine, most of them.
Yeah, it's a big wine. It's wine country. Yeah.
But also, I have people come up to me. I give you a lot of credit. I want to do like you did it. So it's not easy. It's not. I'm not telling you that this is just an easy. Maybe by talking about it, it's a therapeutical for me, and I stopped drinking. But it's, you know, the first few months is very hard.
I'm sure, but once you get into it, once you get that, like, you know, get the system down and like get more confident, like I'm not gonna drink, you know, I'm not gonna make people make me feel like
Yeah, but there's so many things that, like you said, it's all mental
drink.
because you can actually, we all go through period that there could be a sad day in your life, whether it be related to your family or whether related to your personal or related to business. So how do you handle that? Because that was easy before. You just go and get a drink and think that makes it better, but it really makes it worse.
Yeah.
You know, in the long run.
Yeah.
So those are the things that instead of doing that, maybe also I think whenever we have a bad habits like that or something like that, you got to replace it with something else. Excuse me. I stayed up late last night, and I wasn't prepared for the video on top of it.
Oh, you're fine. You look great. You look amazing. Look at this, guys.
I know, you look
Dino
great.
Palmieri, everyone.
You got to be able to replace
replace it
one
with
with
something.
another. So myself, 3.5 years ago, which is 3 months before I start drinking, I replaced that with yoga. Now looking back, maybe that was part of it, or something happens in your life that you really got to make changes. So either you learn from it or you're going to get more reckless. But in this case, like I start yoga, guy I work with in my office, Bill Sanderson. He was practicing yoga in the office. We have a little gym, and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, he watches video. He's not professional, but by all means,
Follows like a flow.
Follows it." And I started. I couldn't even keep balance because it's very hard. We do more like strength yoga, and he changes it from day to day, and sometimes we really work it hard. And it's amazing that from 3.5 years ago, I wasn't able to be able to coordinate it. It's all breathing.
It's all about
And coordination
coordinating
and
breathing.
balance. And I think that those are the three things that really, if you do that on a daily basis, and now like I do on an average 5 days a week, and I do lifting.
I mean, you're in great shape.
Well, as you
I
get older,
gotta
it's not
say it.
easy.
You're in great shape.
It's not easy because it's like you also got to watch what you eat, as well as like keep this routine going, and by by doing that, I think the yoga is like become like the replacement of alcohol. I can't say that it's exactly what it is, but I'm trying to think why. I don't have
You
it.
found
I have
like an
more.
outlet.
It's an outlet. Yeah, it's
you
like
found
a
an
switch.
outlet.
What's your favorite style of yoga? I love yoga myself.
I'm working very hard right now on the T, like on a balance on one leg, and to create that beautiful pose, which is very hard to do.
Can you do a
Because
headstand?
something is bended and you got to stretch it. And now I'm working on getting my leg behind my head,
That's amazing.
Wow,
which
look
is pretty
at you.
hard.
That's
the
hard.
flexibility.
Flexing
We
over
should do a
here,
yoga-
Mr. Flexer.
So yeah, I used to teach yoga.
You did?
So we're gonna do yoga together.
Yeah, so, and then we do, it's like, I like that we spice it up and change
Yeah.
it, so it makes it fun as well. So actually we started and he used to play yoga music. So
Meditation,
then,
yeah.
been traveling, I developed a taste for techno music, like energy music. And one day I brought it up, I said, "Hey, Bill," I said, "would you like to change to this music?" And he says, "Oh, let's try," because he's very musically inclined.
Yeah.
And we probably one of the few people that do music with those artists
Like EDM and
well, my favorite we use is Salome. He's an artist from Denmark that is like always got the upbeats, and we listen to his radio now, and it's just like
So do you
keeps
speed up
keeps you
the flow?
pumping. Yeah, with the slow. So I felt that the slow, meditation yoga, the music was like too slow.
Too calm
I mean,
for
people
you.
underestimate yoga. When I started yoga, I was doing power yoga, and we would essentially sync our movement to the beat of the music, and the music would slowly pick up the beat as the class went on in power yoga, and you'd come out drenched in sweat. Like we're doing yoga in like 100-degree room, high humidity. It's incredible, and this is what my outlet was.
Not every day is like that, but some days he comes up and says, "We're going to really hit it hard and do some cardio yoga and all those movements," and you sweat. I mean, you really sweat, and the music has got a lot to do with it when you move fast. Depends what you do.
Do you go to a local studio or just do it with your friend?
No, a long
at
time
the
ago I went to Cleveland Yoga, but it's it's like anything else. You got to do it on a regular basis.
Consistently, yeah.
If you do anything regularly, I just happen to be lucky that I have someone with me, and including himself. I think it's like sometimes people have a trainer, not necessarily because the trainer is better than you. I believe that you need a companion there to help you do it on a daily basis. So,
because you can hold each
even
other
when-
accountable.
Yes, you give each other, let's do this or let's do that. Not that we are in the same level, but it's like even when I traveled and he's at home, he says, "Oh, I miss not having yoga with you because it's not the same." So I think that's part of it, why people use studio and why they use a trainer. It's just that extra person that we're competitive as humans.
So how did you deal with stress before you started yoga, when you started back like 30 years ago, when you first opened up your first salon here in the States, but the first Dino Palmieri, and then you grew
going to alcohol.
Right to alcohol.
Looking back, maybe so, or like going back again to alcohol. That you come home while you're stressed and you gotta have a drink, and before you know, you have 3 or 4 drinks, which is bad habits. Forget about the drinking. I don't know. Stress is like over years, you learn how to deal with it, and it's not something that there is a college for it. You just got to
Yeah, you
be
just
able to
gotta
deal on
cope.
your own. The same as like, I tell people, even parenting, there's no
There's no
school,
handbook
There's no school, no
on how
handbook
to
that you
parent.
do it. Parenting, relationships. Relationship, most people use shrinks and psychologists or whatever. So they
Psychics,
to help. It's like
in this case.
it's like the
Yeah.
coach for yoga. No, I think the stress is like over time. It's like everybody deals with stress differently. I learned how to deal with stress much better today than it was back in the days, because being in business is always something coming up almost on a daily basis, whether it'll be bank related or being employee related, or there's so much that comes at you. But I do love that. That's partially maybe why I'm still in business and why I like the business. It's like I like the challenge and I like the decision making.
Yeah.
My thing.
It
My favorite
fuels
part,
you.
if you
It
ask me, is
fuels
my
you, right?
negotiation. Yeah, I do love that.
And not like I know we touched on your hair salon business and now you've grown to multiple locations, but you've also have a real estate construction
Yeah,
business,
most people
correct?
don't know that because simultaneously, almost when I start my business in hair, and everybody knows me from the beauty salon only because you have your name on the door, but it's not necessarily where I actually, spend my time in terms of business. We back, I started building houses, and one of my first partner was an Israeli guy. That I did it on my own, but then because I was a hairdresser, looking back, most people don't know this story. There was a friend of the family, because my first wife is Jewish, and was related. His name was Joshua OSL, and we became partners. And I would be more part of the design part of it because that was always my strength. And I learned a lot from him and a lot of the people in the community, in the Jewish community. They were builders, and that's really how I started building business. Then also, we'll get to that in a second, but this man, we built several houses together, and you would be on a day-to-day.
And this was when you've already had multiple locations, salon locations?
That's really where I started. And then I got to be known in the area, in the east side of Cleveland, and then the first break was given to me by Bart Wolstein, rest in peace, that he actually gave me the first. Barrington was opening up. I was getting popular as a builder, which most people didn't know. And and we built the guard gates, we built the entrance, we built a model home, my company, and then you give me a break, basically. Along the way, when you're in business, you got to recognize that people, you can't do this all by yourself. Some people are maybe cocky enough to think that this is all them. You got to have some luck. I think you always got to have a luck component to it, but then you got to be persistent and perseverance, stay on top. So I think now that, I think I'm here for this interview thinking that this was going to come up, but like say that this particular situation that was given to me, and I took advantage of it because he gave me the opportunity. And I remember he took us on his private jet to Atlanta to mimic this club. It was Club of the South, which I remember Elton John used to live there. It was a gated community, and that's what he wanted to do in Barrington, Aurora, Ohio, with the Jack Nicklaus golf course. And that's where really we had the grand opening. I was the first builder in there. I was like, I was not privileged. I worked my butt off to get it done, but I was part of the team. And then
And you had an eye for design, you said.
Yeah,
That's
we did the Homerama there. The first one was for, I think one or the second was with Playhouse Square. They were like the sponsor, and they were the benefit from the people. And that's, when you have an Homerama like that, at the time it was like 20,000 people coming through. Wow. They become aware of your name and what you do. And then from there I stayed with the custom home. So we still do it to this day. We just finished a few homes. I have repeat clients that they built with me in the past, and they hired me for the second time. For privacy, I'm not mentioning any name,
Yeah,
but we just
yeah.
finished a gentleman and his wife that they were wonderful to work for them the first time. He's worked with Accenture. Very smart man, very dement man, but he's happy that we always
Deliver.
there for him and make him happy. And he sent me a beautiful message, and that's really what makes me still build houses, because sometimes, they send you a message that says, "Thanks for putting this dream together for me, and achieve my
I
dream."
love that. I mean, a lot of people, when they build their homes, they want it to be their dream for right.
No
when
matter
they're-
what level, it's not
Right.
like the rich people have a better, have a different situation than the poor people. It's like everybody. A house is very personal, and it becomes very personal, from the selection to the way they live. People, and when things are personal, they take it. No matter what it is, you got to treat them the same, whether they spend $200,000 or they spend $2 million. So that's where. But back to the situation there, that's where I got my break, and then I wanted to be a developer because that was always my dream. I watched it, and so my main business right now, we develop land. So going to we purchase the land from a farmer or from an individual that's not entitled, and then you got to go through the entitlement process most of the time, unless we buy the entitled already, and then we're just ready to go. So we are now in Painesville Township, Wadsworth, Columbus,
Wow.
Olmsted Township, to mention a few. So those are the places that we still,
Yeah, like-
Medina County, we are in several other places, and we are in
You're growing like
Jackson Township, really. So that's really what I do on a day-to-day, really, that involves me negotiating to, not only from the rezoning part, then to deal with,
The clients.
the clients in
Yeah.
that case is the big guys, the big company like Pulte, Ryan Homes.
so you
people
do
like
you
that.
develop for
them.
those builders, custom home builders. Well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't call them custom, but to an extent, right?
Well,
Yeah.
the production builders.
Yeah, production builders.
Production
yeah.
builders, where they have the model, they have, they take. I think, in my opinion, what they do between that and what we do as a custom homes, which is not, even though it's the same business, it's not related, because custom home is custom home. They take the emotion out of it, or they try to take the emotion out of
Yeah.
it. They give you less selection.
Yeah.
You still get, you get what you pay for, as they say.
Basically, yeah.
So the selection process is different. So you get.
I don't think you get the
Maybe you get three color, white, and white.
and you don't get the relationship building between, like, if you're building a custom home, I feel like the builder is going to be a lot more personable with you because, like you said, there's
Yeah.
a wider range.
The custom home is definitely different
Yeah.
because you get to know how they live. Sometimes even design their of course their closets. We have done some very elaborate closets, the way people live, and what they do, and building, hiring board for they make an ironing board for sheets. I don't know if most people know that, but
it's like a custom iron
specifically custom. It's actually a German company that makes that thing, Miele. That
for
makes this-
sheets, like
it's
bed sheets.
incorporated in your closet that you put it in, and it irons your sheets.
I want one of those.
I do like my iron sheets, which
That's awesome.
some people think
I've
it's-
never heard of that before.
you know, you
We're
see,
old
most people
school.
don't know
We're
because
old
it's-
school with the handheld iron and the steamer.
That's expensive, so you gotta, if you incorporate that, you must have money and you have a special closet. But those are the things that, goes in custom homes. Custom is custom, so you can have it. It's like, and a lot of people, generally speaking, they ask, how much you build per square foot? If you do custom, it's impossible to even gear it because, you take the total
yeah.
on the end, you measure the square foot, and you divide it up and you get the square footage average. But we all, it's good, just like the shampoo. Everybody goes and smells the shampoo before they even
Before
saw
they
what it
buy
does.
it,
It's
yeah.
just a force of habit. The same as they ask me as a builder, how much you build per square foot? I said, what do you want to build?
Right. Especially when it
it's
comes to
just,
custom
then
homes.
you divide it up, but it's just the way we are.
And when we got to peek, we got a little sneak peek of your house tour on Cleveland Vibes, and I saw that you grow figs in your yard.
The figs in my yard, in my house, they don't grow as well because it's open and it's up like on top of the hill, so it's not protected. So I discovered, because for many years, being from Italy, I tried to grow figs. I made wine in the past, I made sausage in the past. I don't do any more that stuff because I don't even need to drink that. But so the figs was always my passion to grow them, and a lot of people here from Northeast Ohio, whether from Jordan or from Europe or Middle Eastern, they want to grow figs. And what has been lucky for me, I bought this building in Solon. It was dark brick building, and the front of the building faced south. So I had the southern exposure all day long. So I planted a few plants there, and I saw that these plants, they start to grow like crazy. The heat magnified, from the hard brick, just made them grow. And I still have figs there. I have them in a couple other buildings, but that's still the favorite. Even when we have a harsh winter like this last winter, we lost a lot of branches because you protect it. That's the whole idea. Going back, a lot of people try to grow and bring it inside the house. So, for example, they take a pot and they grow, but then you can never get a natural
the roots don't get too far.
So I got lucky in this case because it was like been in the construction business. So I figured, we protect it every winter. It's a very flexible branch. So once in the end of November, the leaves fall off, then you don't break the branches, you tie it, and then we decide to put insulation. And then the insulation we put burlap. At the beginning, I was so meticulous about it, I would even spray some kind of oil so the water will shed and not get them wet, but it's not necessary. So then in the spring, that's at the end of November, April 1st, you uncover them. And this last year was really harsh because we had those couple of weeks of really, really cold, so it penetrates, froze a lot of the branches. Oh. So we had to start from scratch, cut it from scratch, and really it's amazing that you see in my video that they grew up really well. And then starts the end of August, beginning of September, and now we have a lot of figs again. So this heat really does, and you go there, you can smell the leaves, and it's like really nice. Of course, they're not the same because in Europe, most people, it's not just one type of figs. There's
multiple kinds, and they grow so big.
In Italy, they start in June, and every one is different type. They have different names for different.
Are
figs.
they sweet?
Oh, very sweet. Yes, they're very sweet. It is a small. It's very, very sweet. So and it's only, I think, one of the few, because you can buy it in the store, but you buy 6 and maybe one is good and the rest are hard.
The rest are hard, yeah.
It's because you cannot, there's one fruit today you really got to pick off the tree fresh, and you got to eat it within 24 hours if you really want to have that taste of that really good figs.
That's incredible. I mean,
that's really what, it's been.
Figs are good. Mm-hmm. I love figs.
Yeah, so, some people, unfortunately for me, this last week, because I had that thing in Cleveland Vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! It's just, so the people, I went there because I was we had some leak in the building, and I went to see one of the tenants, and he said, to be honest with you, it's annoying. I said, what do you mean it's annoying? He says they come from men to women, young to old, and they break branches. They come in all day long to take figs.
Oh my God!
So I can't even control it anymore. It's like because it's been popular, people just come. I've been there when
So how many trees do you have?
I have a total of 27, I think.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So people can just come up and just pick the figs.
It's become popular, so people go. And one time, a few years back, there were 3 beautiful ladies there. Yes. And I said, what are you guys doing there? I think they were from Jordan or from the Middle East.
Yeah, we love figs in the Middle East.
We're in the wrong place. Someone told us that to invite us to the figs. I said, no, that's me. I said, you're just in the right place. So I said, you can have some figs. I mean, what am I going to do?
That's incredible. Yeah, I mean, it's...
So that's started as a joke, but it's like, it's been fun really doing it.
I love that.
A couple of times I got mad. I says, I don't have any for me.
For yourself.
So I said, I should put cameras up, but then it's really not worth it.
Do you have deer that eat them? No
deer. Usually you got to get to them before the bees and the birds.
Oh, so that's...
The bees, and actually if you got to spray something. We haven't done it this year, but a lot of time ants. So
would you rather work in a salon, build property, or grow figs?
Oh, I don't know. Figs is really.
What's your favorite?
I don't know. Figs is just a labor of love, and it's like something that I fell for it, fell into it. I don't know. There is not. I told you my favorite part is negotiation, whatever we do, and even with the salon is like you know that's how I start to really learn how the negotiation, dealing with the leases in the mall, and learn that process, which I applied it. What I learned from negotiating lease, then I own real estate that we have buildings and real estate that I negotiate with the tenants. So I have also that part of it that that's probably my favorite part.
And
Yeah.
that's
Negotiating leases and
Negotiating.
negotiation.
that's what keeps you inspired.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different factors.
keep
I'm lucky
going.
that I have different things, and maybe out of survival. Some people say, "Why did you go from hairdresser to that?" I'm glad that I did because, I was able to learn other things, and I was able to provide myself with a different way of revenues, as well as, just like learn other things. So I think it also keeps your mind sharp, and I think maybe better now after I burned a lot of brain cells drinking alcohol in the past, but it's okay.
As a
It's never too
hairdresser, you're creative. I mean, hairdressers have to be creative. So, like, how do you use that creativity into building homes?
I think it's something you have or you don't, and I'm not saying that I'm the best because I always recognize other people's talent. It's just like you interview a hairdresser and you see the skill that they have. In the past, I haven't done many interviews lately, but then I think there was always like, once you get in, I think it's just I always had a very good clinical eye. That's what I was told. I don't toot my own horn, but I think then you see it and you do it. And then also to be able, we're not born with this talent. I think, especially designing or like you learn from others and then you apply it and make it your own. I never forget. I was the first house I designed back. Oh my God, I think Barrington or Moreland Hills. This designer, and she was Iraqi lady, Bushra Rahim. And I never forget, she says, Dino, why did you make different floor patterns on the floor? I said, why do you have tile, you have wood, you have this? I said, because I like it. I said, no, it doesn't work. I said, why? And she was recognized as a designer. And that's also, you got to be able to take criticism because some people are so cocky, they think they know better. And I never forget, she says, you want the floor to disappear. So he says, you want to make sure that everything is unique, whether you pick one or the others. Make sure, and I never forget that. So, so you tell people that, and this is, well, I could have said, hey, people buy my house. Who are you to tell me what to do? But really, if you listen and then you start to apply it, and I think it was also to stay current, like to get you. Nobody's, like I say, is born with just the talent and you become the best designer,
You
best
have
builder.
to keep up with.
You got to keep up with it, and you got to stay with the trend and what's the trends are doing and follow it. And you
Education
always,
classes and all that.
yeah, well, in the building business, you just go to different shows and you see the trends. Because also, I believe that even with the technology and appliance, people change. They change because the technology doesn't stop.
Yeah.
There's a newer technology into refrigeration, so you got to be aware of that.
Well, you have a fridge now that can tell you what to make.
Yeah.
And you enter your ingredients and it'll tell you, hey, you can
Really?
make this. Yeah, those new fridges
Yeah,
out
I
there,
remember
right?
when they first came out. This is years
Can it
ago.
feed me
That you guys remember that
Can it cook?
the kitchen
Can it just
cabinets. Think
throw out
about this
food?
one.
Yeah.
The kitchen cabinets. They were, they were just normally inches that you have to close and open the door. And then the softer,
soft
they have the
close.
softer closing. And I think that probably was, we always joke among builders, there was probably some angry husband that was slamming doors and the wife decided, says, this is a great idea to make it slow so you don't hear the impact.
Yeah, well, now the cars have self-close doors.
You leave it a
it's-
little close and they close themselves.
Yeah.
That's all different
How
technology.
do you describe your style? If somebody, like your design style, is it?
For me personally, I usually, what the thing of it is when you build for a client, you got it built for the client because
Yeah.
the client is the client. People forget that if you're the client that wants a contemporary, you do contemporary. If you don't want the client wants traditional, you'll do
So if
traditional.
a client comes up to you and be like, Dino, I want to build a house, but I want you to design it to your taste. How's it going to look like?
It's a very seldom that happens because they all come in. This is there's a story behind this. They all come in and says, hey, what would you do? But they all come in and everybody's got an opinion. Even
Of
though
course.
this is, I have a client, I remember this client that he said, I have no taste. And
He told you you have no taste?
no, he said that to him. He
Oh,
has
he
no
has no
taste.
taste.
He has no taste. I said, Bob, I says, you have an opinion. So I said, what's your opinion? Let's hear your opinion, because he's very opinionated.
Everyone has an
So
opinion.
he claims he
that's
has no
true.
taste, but he has a lot of opinion. So that's how you develop the house, with his opinion. Because literally, some of the best houses that we build come out of a back of napkin.
So-
People that are afraid, it's like, I have a lot of good experience with this, because people come in, and whether the husband and wife, and I says, well, what do you have in mind? And then I says, well, she or he drew it on a piece of paper, but we didn't, come on, show it to me. And it's hard to get them out, because they don't want to show it to you, because they're embarrassed. But really, at the end, it ends up being similar to what they have sketched in the first place. It might not be in proportion. This back in the days, but there's still people like that they want to sketch and they want to prepare themselves. So as far as like me, I like to just clean line, just like I explained to you, one floor throughout, and keep your eye not too busy, because I think when it comes to design, where people have done, like where you have too many things going on,
It's overwhelming.
overwhelming, and so those are things, just basic things that
I
you
like
learn.
simple too.
Even if you make it traditional, make it all, simple traditional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But very contemporary is we have done some very, very clean
Clean
look,
cut, yeah.
and there's got zero tolerance of mistake. With traditional, when you build houses, and people that listen to me talk right now, if he's a builder, completely understand, you can hide, if the floor is not even, if the opening is not squared, you can hide it with a big molding and tradition. But when it comes to very contemporary, you got to be on all the way from the level of the foundation all the way up, because this allows you no
No
mistake
room
and
for
no
error.
zero tolerance. So that's really, but if you're custom builder, sometimes they come for your ideas, but they really, I think for a custom builder, it's more to coordinate the trades and achieve their dreams, usually in a budget and a timely manner, which sometimes is not easy to do, because their taste, they might be more elevated than the budget.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's more work, so it takes longer. So there's a lot of things that going into it, and it's like you really, when you do a custom home and you start from scratch, you're married to that person, and you better have a good supervisor on the job, because that's really, we can.
You
go
need
into
somebody
that.
on the construction site too.
Yeah. So as
looking
most
out
people
for-
don't know me as a hairdresser, they think I still cut hair. I just got my CFO. She doesn't go anywhere else. She likes the way I cut her hair, and but I develop not only a liking for the building, but I develop the skill that takes to do what I have to do.
Yeah.
So what you ask us is, when they come to you, I'm not an architect. We are basically custom builder matchmakers. You have a certain style, you develop a liking for certain architects, and then you choose the architect for the job.
What's number one advice that you would give young entrepreneurs who are trying or maybe want to get into a different avenue from their current industry?
Again, it goes back to persistence and perseverance, which is like people talk about it, but they don't do it. I think it's easy to get distracted in this world of young people that they have other place. I still have a hard time people that make, over $100,000 a year and they're not able to save any money. I think there's so many options and so many things that we have, from the internet, that you have the distraction, so many things. So I think basically, I'm not saying anything genius, let's just stay focused. So if you decide to change path, just make sure that you stay focused on what you do, and don't most people make a mistake. They just say, okay, I like this, but, they give it a short time. I think you got to give it the length of time that it takes to exercise whole option, to make sure that that's what it is. But if you have a dream and you work hard at it, you don't even have to be the smartest guy, the smartest person, that you will get it achieved pure by working very hard. Because the first 10 years in this country, I worked like 70, 80 hours a week. I still work. It's different work. You develop into different role in your life and work. But I think that's the advice I would give to someone.
Yeah. That's good. That's good advice.
Yeah.
But there's too many distractions, obviously, as we know right now. And I don't know what's going to happen with this AI. Even Bill Gates, a month ago, he says that he is even
Using
nervous because he didn't realize it was going to go so fast.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy what's going
It's
on.
crazy.
With that.
So
yeah.
nobody knows.
Okay, I gotta ask the golden question. How do you feel about pineapple on pizza? As as a true Italian.
If you can put figs on pizza, which I've done it because this is another thing that you guys don't know. I developed a skill to make pizza. I have an exclusive to bring pizza oven in this country. I have it in my backyard. I don't do it anymore because it takes a lot of time to prepare the dough.
The dough.
But back when I was married, I was like, we would have every Sunday, like I would make pizza.
Oh, I love that.
So it's really in the dough, and anything you put on it, of course, you gotta have good ingredients. I believe in fresh ingredients, and even the pizza in Italy, they don't prepare the sauce. You just fresh tomatoes. Or and they do have the fig pizza is incredible. I don't know if you guys have it.
I've had caramelized figs on like sourdough.
They do fresh figs,
Yeah.
and I do. Even here, I bring it to some of my friends. They put it on pizza.
Oh, sounds incredible.
Right, chefs here in Cleveland. So
With like a burrata on top and some honey.
Yes, so pizza is like, it's not simple. As simple as it looks, a good pizza is very hard to make because of the dough has got to be a certain way. And, so it's not, if you want to do really Napoletana pizza.
Yes, that's what we want.
Yeah. And then it goes into different fermentation. Some is 24, 48, or 72. What I understand, the longer it's fermented, the better it's digested for you. Because it's easier on your stomach.
On your belly, yeah.
On your belly. So those are the things that, and you can feel it if you do the 72 hours when they have it, and not every time. Not many people have it because it's a lot of work, obviously.
Yeah.
That's really what it is, But I think it's like they come up with a lot of different toppings in Italy.
They have all different kinds of pizzas now.
What's your favorite?
Everything.
Yeah. What would you say your favorite pizza
I don't know. I
spot?
try
If you were to
all kinds,
recommend
but
someone,
Italy it goes back to the basic. Like the margherita is really my first choice.
where should we
burrata.
go in Cleveland for best pizza? Best
I don't know,
Italian
there's
pizza.
There's a guy they actually on the last pizza I had, which I changed. It is on Larchmere, and it's pecora.
Pecora?
Yeah, this is
I don't think I'm. I don't
Yeah,
think
you
I'm
never heard of it?
No.
Yeah, he's really doing a good job.
Okay. Is it called Pecora, the place?
Pecora is, he'll tell you that he's got a sheep, which is pecora in Italian is sheep. And but he went in Italy as like, I don't know, we were going to talk about this, but he went to Italy in vacation and then he's ended up in Naples. He stayed there for whatever time to learn how to make pizza, and now he's doing pizza over here.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm going to have to try it out.
Yeah, unfortunately, if we would go back into that subject, you go to any grocery shop, there is a lot of junk there, and it's inevitable. The aisle, chips, and there is like chips going on forever. Even go to Costco, it's like boom, the big aisle, different chips.
I know there's like.
And they know how to put it.
Market. They know how to market it.
It's all marketing. They put it right before you turn to the aisle, to go
the
check
cashier,
out.
yeah.
So even if you don't want it,
You're gonna stop and
end up
look.
buying it because you have a football game that day, or you're gonna be people coming over.
And you're waiting in line. That line is a mile long, and you're just
and
sitting
it's
there
right
waiting,
there.
looking at the aisles of chips and candy.
And they have a special all the time.
Yeah.
Take a look at it. They always like they have the $2 off or whatever, and I see people just, that's a great idea. Let's buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their way of making you buy things.
Yeah.
Just as if you're in TJ Maxx and you just went and shopping, and then you're in the line to get out. You have all these candles and all these things. And you're like, I want this, I want that.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
they
so
also change it a
true.
lot.
Literally, they do that on purpose.
Yeah. I
And
know
it's like
that's-
mini little ones you can grab.
They change things around a lot, and I go back because I love going to Costco, and it's like, what happened? Well, they make you think.
It's like a fun day
puzzle.
trip,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
It is.
What do you think about people eating in their cars?
I do it sometime, it's just the society we live in, unfortunately. Like if you have a meeting and I go home, because most of the time I go home to make my lunch and I have to rush, I just eat in my car. I try to eat healthy, but you still can eat in your car, unfortunately.
We're in a rush.
what
Yeah, we all do
today.
it. We all do it.
You all do it because you might have this meeting that you schedule, and then you got to eat so you can fulfill your stomach, and then you have no choice, so you eat in the car. I mean, eat healthy and eat in the car.
Yeah.
I mean, two different
Just
things.
eat an apple.
I remember I was in Salerno last September, a year ago, exactly a year ago. I was in Salerno.
What are we doing in Salerno?
I was on vacation. I love that town. It was my second or third time in Salerno, and I was having pizza with my sister and my friend, and we ate pretty quickly. We were so hungry, and we're getting ready to get up and to leave, and then the owner comes over. He's like, so I called him over. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, can I have the check, please? He's like, why? I'm like, well, we're done eating. He's like, no. He's like, why don't you just sit down and enjoy the evening? Why are you Americans are always in a rush to go somewhere? He's like, aren't you on vacation? I'm like, yeah. He's like, sit down. I'm going to get you some dessert, and you guys will just enjoy your evening. And mind you, he had a line around the corner for people waiting to get a table.
Yeah.
And that honestly changed my perspective on the American versus Italian culture. Like, we need to slow down here in America and enjoy the food and going back to...
Yeah, but we are in this, this always in a hurry. That's the big problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. Salerno, actually, my name Palmieri is very popular in Salerno.
Is it really? Okay, well,
I had
I'm going to have to go back in Colorado.
Maybe we had the same place. There was Palmieri restaurant.
Okay.
And it was similar to that, very good food.
It's going to be our next trip.
Yeah. I love Italy.
The Italy still takes their time to eat, and they still have my family can get used to it. They eat punctually and certain time, and they got to eat everybody together.
I love that. Well, Dino, it was so fun having you on today.
Well, we talked about a subject that I didn't think I was going to talk about it. Obviously, that's why it's live. This is really good. We didn't talk much about the salon, obviously, but that's where it got me where I'm at. I have to tell you, the salon is still where it got me where I'm at today. It's the baby. And I still care deeply about it. It just, things change all the time. And we can talk about next time.
We're definitely going to have you back. I'm so excited. And guys, Dino Palmieri, of course. It's Dino Palmieri. Thank you. And
thank you.
I can't wait to have you on again. Guys, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. You can watch the full episode on YouTube, and you can listen in on Apple and Spotify. Follow us, subscribe, and leave us some comments on who you'd like to see on our next episode.
Okay,
Stay unfiltered, friends.
Thank you, Dino.
Thank you.